And when we were doing street theatre, even though some of us were students, some was a doctor, somebody was unemployed, all of us really at some level had the idealism that this was going to change the world. Because every time I would go and perform in a place and it would touch people's hearts, because you're performing like this, you can see each one, you make eye contact with people, they ask you questions. Suddenly a dog also walks in between and you have to improvise and somehow save your most serious line if you're performing in the play. So it was an amazing experience, and I really thought that we were touching lives and this was going to change the world. Of course, I'm not as idealistic now, or maybe I'm still very idealistic, but with more of reality thrown into it, where we say, okay, it's still worth being optimistic, it's still worth believing that all of us are half a drop in the ocean, but we can make that little change. But all of these experiences did have an impact on the latter part of my journey as well. Many of you probably know me as an actor, and probably some of you might have also seen Firak, my directorial debut. So the choices I made in films also were impacted by my days in human rights work or social work or whatever term we may give. It was just being a more conscientious, I think, person and trying to find your way and say, okay, this is the reality that I'm living in. What is it that I can do to make my life more meaningful? And that is how it was complete coincidence that in fact Fire happened, which was my first film. Fire created a lot of furrow. In fact, some of you with me here to the college had interviewed me and they said, but didn't Fire create a lot of problems for you? And how did the society and your parents take it? And what their view, did it change because of the film, because of my acting in that film? So to answer that and to share that experience with you, it was a film that did ruffle a lot of feathers, because we are very good at shoving things under the carpet or pretending that certain things don't exist or don't happen. But to actually face them up front, to deal with them, is to first of all recognize it, then to be sensitized by it and say, well, there are different people who have different choices, who have made a choice to live a certain way. As long as it's not harming the society, it's not harming me, does it really matter what are their preferences, whether it's a religion, whether it's a caste, whether it's a sexual preference? But it wasn't that I just did the film and I had all these answers or all these questions. When I did the film, even though I came from a very liberal family, it's a subject that wasn't really discussed in my family. It was only after the film, through various screenings and discussions, post-screening discussions, that lots of people would come and speak to me or share their experiences or ask questions. On a flight, somebody would say that, well, your performance was fine, but you have done a very wrong thing. You are going to make everybody into lesbians. And I was like, really? Watching a 2-hour film, people are going to change their sexual orientation? There wouldn't be any homosexuals in our country world, because all our stories are about kings and queens and Raja and Ranis. So how did that happen? So I think it did make a lot of people uncomfortable. Still, I get many questions about it. But there were also others who said, well, that was a bold film. It needed to be talked about. It's something that the society must debate, must become more sensitive towards. And there were many people who shared their stories. Many women, men would come and actually see me as a confidant or a counselor. And not that I knew anything much about it, but with all those questions and comments, I think my internal growth also happened. And the growth of understanding what this other is. We always have a notion of the other. What is that other? There is us and there is them. So how do we define that them? For all of us, the them may be something else. For it may be a language community divided on the basis of language. It could be religion, it could be caste, various things. And I think that is the sensitivity that grew and understanding that grew gradually with my own questions, my own discomfort with dealing with the issues. But I think today I can say that I'm not inhibited, not prejudiced about that. I'm sure I have other prejudices. I might say, oh, I'm not going to name, but a certain community might be very money-minded, or a certain community might be lazy. Like we ourselves say, the Odias are very lazy, because coming from the eastern side. So there are lots of, generalizations we all make. But all these things did help me grow. After Fire was Earth, Again, a strong film which was about partition. All of us have probably heard stories of partition or read stories of partition. But to actually be in that milieu, to play one of the characters, to read more about it was definitely an interesting experience. As I did Hindi films, I realized the kind of films I wanted to do, and probably, like I said, my social work had an impact on the choices. And because of that, maybe I didn't want to do the mainstream commercial films. Also, I didn't grow up with that. My parents never took me to a film, so that was just something that I wasn't exposed to. So when I was doing these films, I suddenly, somebody would invite me for a Malayalam film, and that was one of the first regional films I did. And I said, Malayalam, but I don't understand a word of it. How am I going to do a whole film in it? But I did one film, and then I swore that I wasn't going to do another film in a South Indian language because it's really tough. While everybody's having fun, I'm sitting with my papers and like an exam, trying to mug up my lines, get the pronunciation right. Even though somebody else dubs it, you still have to mouth all your dialogues. And you have to say them right because your co-actor doesn't want to hear some strange words coming out of your mouth because they also have to react to you. But I've done now 3 Malayalam, 3 Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and all these different languages, which has also been a lot of fun because it has exposed me to different milieu, going to different parts of the country, places that I would have probably never gone on my own because they are not holiday destinations, they are not big cities, they are small rural areas. You meet very interesting people, you eat different kind of food. You truly realize that India, what we keep saying, diversity, that the best thing about India is its diversity. All of us say that, unity in diversity, something we've all kind of read since school, but what does it really mean? And this little exposure, I would say I've still not seen 100,000th of what really exists in the country, but just going to different parts of the country definitely was again a great learning experience. Since then, I've done about 30 films in different languages. The people in Delhi, Bombay, big cities still struggle when they have to name my film. They're like, oh, which one should we say? And they kind of say 4 or 5 that they might have heard. But it's nice to be sort of a pan-Indian actor because when you go to Kerala, they've only heard the Malayalam ones, and you go to Bengal and they've heard the Bengali ones. Konkani is left, so I'm hoping that some good director, Konkani director with a good story, that I will also get to do a film, and then next time when I come, I can at least say smatterings of Konkani here. So this has been broadly the journey, and then I realized that doing films and having a social work background, what it did was, it suddenly gave me a platform to talk about different things that I believed in. When I was doing my social work, it was more full-time, I was far more invested in it. And when I started acting and people would call me as a social activist, I used to think, what are they talking about? Because I have met and worked with the real social activists who have dedicated their lives for the people. But we use terms much more lightly because anybody who's probably in that domain becomes an activist. But what it did allow me is to come wear the hat of an actor, remove it as and when I wanted, and wear the other hat of being an advocate for issues that were close to my heart. So I've tried to balance both the things. And when you have a deep faith in something, then it doesn't become work anymore. Then it's something that you enjoy doing. In fact, that's one thing I feel that it would be so wonderful if everybody could actually do what they really enjoyed doing. I think everybody would just do it so much better and would be happier. We always think, okay, what's your hobby? What do you do in your downtime? When questions like that come, I don't know what to say because I enjoy my work. I'm happy when I'm working. That's my hobby. That's my passion. That's my work. And downtime is built into all of that. So, I really wish, and I do realize that I'm very privileged that I have, had on those crossroads, those are the choices I made. Of course, it's not like everything was as rosy. There were ups and downs. There were learnings. There were some wrong decisions. Sometimes you think the story is great and you do a film, and when you're actually there, you realize that the film isn't turning out the way you'd imagined it. And, you're still stuck with 20 days of shoot, and you still try and do your best, and then say, okay, that was a mistake. But no mistake is really for nothing. There's always something from it that leaves in your mind, that remains in your mind. And that's why our learning is not such a conscious thing. If somebody asked me, what is that one thing that impacted you in your life? I don't think I'd be able to say, because it's really a mix of everything. It could be a film I've seen, it could be a book I've read, it could be somebody I've met. There are so many things that impacts us that makes us who we are. And we don't even know how it manifests, because it's in our responses. Sometimes we respond to something and it's, if I break a glass here, I'm sure 10 people will respond to it very differently. Somebody would say, yay, the party has begun, or it's a good omen. Somebody would say, oh my God, how sloppy she is, she broke the glass. Or somebody might say, oh, I think it was on purpose because she wanted to finish because she's sweating. So, she just wanted to get off the stage. So there could be many different interpretations to it.